Hey, this is the Mathketeer here to show you how to multiply radical expressions. When multiplying radical expressions, it's important to remember a few things. You multiply the numbers outside the radical together, and you multiply the numbers inside the radical together. Simplify if necessary by factoring out perfect squares, and multiply the square root by the constant. Combine like terms if necessary. I have a few examples here to help illustrate. Example number 1, we have 3 times the square root of 12 times 4 to the square root of 6. We multiply 3 times 4, which is 12, and then we multiply 12 times 6, which is 72. Now 72 contains a perfect square of 36, right? 72 is 36 times 2. The square root of 36 is 6. So this would be 6 times the square root of 2 times 12. Our final answer would be 72 times the square root of 2. For example number 2, we have 2 square root of 5 multiplied by 3 square root of 10. We multiply 2 times 3, which is 6. We multiply 10 times 5, which is 50. We can simplify the square root of 50, which is 25 times 2. The square root of 25 is 5, and this simplifies to 5 times the square root of 2. Multiplied by 6, 6 times 5 is 30, and our answer here is 30 times the square root of 2. For example number 3, we have the square root of 5 multiplied times 4 square root of 20. Since there is no number in front of square root of 5, it is assumed to be 1. So we have 4, and then 5 times 20 is 100. Now the square root of 100 is 10. 4 times 10 is 40. For number 4, we have 15x squared multiplied by 10x cubed. So we multiply the numbers together, and we have the square root of 150. And then x squared times x to the third. We multiply exponents. We are really just adding the exponents together. We have x to the fifth. This can be simplified by factoring 150, which is 25 times 6 times x to the fifth. The square root of 25 is 5. X to the fifth, we can factor at 2 x's, so that would be x squared. And what's remaining under the radical sign is 6x. For example number 3, we have the square root of 3 multiplied by 5 plus the square root of 21. We need to use a distributive property in this case. We're going to distribute the square root of 3. We have 5 radical 3 plus the square root of 21 times 3, which is 63. We can simplify 63 as 9 times 7. The square root of 9 is 3. So this simplified is 3 square root of 7. We can bring in the 5 square root of 3, and that is our final answer. We cannot combine these two terms because we have a square root of 3 and square root of 7. For example number 6, we have 3 square root of 3 multiplied by 2 plus the square root of 6. 3 times 2 is 6. The square root of 3 remains the same. Plus 3 times the square root of 18, which is 6 times 3. Now the square root of 18 can be simplified. That is 9 times 2. We can simplify that to 3 square root of 2. We multiply the 3's together. And our final answer is 6 square root of 3 plus 9 square root of 2. They cannot be combined because we have 6 square root of 3 plus square root of 2. So, when multiplying radical expressions, you must multiply the outside numbers together and the numbers inside the radical together. Simplify if necessary by factoring out the perfect square, and then multiply the square root by the constant outside the radical sign. Combine like terms if necessary. I am the Mathketeer. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. Let me know what you think.